I don't know who this person is, Fairy Princess Lucy. But I did want to, I did want to, it caught my eye, right? It was, the title of this one is called What is a Chaser? A Chill Transgender Guide. So I'm going to assume that this person is trans. I'm just kind of making an assumption, and I'm assuming that that she'll say in the video itself as well. But chasers are an interesting subject matter to me because they're usually, for those unaware, a chaser is somebody who actively pursues trans people for, you know, sex, essentially. And a lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of time, chasers tend to have abhorrent politics and usually hate trans people, like generally speaking, or like they, you know, they advance policies like that that are bad for trans people, or they you know, they have a lot of times they have like a nuclear family like that they're portraying to the world, like with a wife and kids and stuff, but on the side they're like chasing trans people or like you know, for sex. So I'm curious what this person, Fairy Princess Lucy, has to say about this. So like I said, I've never seen this channel before, so we're gonna, you know, we're gonna analyze this video together. Right off the bat, I'm seeing a old school Windows sort of setup for this. So that's an interesting setup. So the pinned comment says, tried my best to explore a slightly heavier topic, but in a comfy manner. Let me know what you think. So let's go ahead and watch it. We'll see what we think.
I don't feel there's yet a simple video that covers what a chaser is, how to avoid chasers, and what isn't a chaser, right? I feel like videos about this topic are usually very finger pointy or trying to dunk on people and that kind of thing, and that's not what this is really going to be.
And by the way, for people who are unaware, I am a cis heterosexual man. My knowledge of trans people is just what I know from, you know, YouTube videos and the occasional trans person that I know in real life. And when I go to drag bars, I guess I sometimes like hang out or see trans people. So I am by no means an expert. I'm sure that I have lots of blind spots as well. I'm just I'm a person who likes to learn. So you know, let's learn together.
As is the nature of this topic, this video I guess I'm going to informally rate PG, but this video will cover topics such as dating, sexuality, that kind of thing. So just keep that in mind, okay?
It's no wonder you're the chaser who has
Ooh, a Pokemon fan.
However, this is still a video on my channel, so let's keep this as clean as possible, okay? All right, so what is a chaser? Generally speaking, a chaser will refer to an individual that will go after or date trans women, not seeing them as people, but as, well, a desire thing, right? Rather than seeing trans people as human beings, these people will see trans people as just a plaything, so to speak, in a sexual context. So
to me, it's very similar. It's a fetishization sort of thing. It's like if you want to equate it to something that might be more normalized or like that more people would be aware of. It's, I think, very similar to how people fetishize Asian women in particular, and they will, you know, they have like, oh yeah, I want to date an Asian girl or something, right? And usually it has to do with like, you know, a very misogynistic view of Asian people in general, or like Asian women in general, and like the and just like an over sexualization of them in their head, which means that they aren't able to really see them as people, but rather see them as a gratification of their sexual desires. So I kind of view it as in a very similar lens to that.
that dehumanization is the main attribute that I think determines what makes someone a chaser, right? So if you've ever used like any dating app, literally ever, you will come across these people surprisingly frequently. Heck, if you just exist as a trans person on the internet, you've probably seen a DM from these kind of people before, and it can be very uncomfortable, right? As
I do like the cozy vibes, though. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of expecting this video to be a little bit more, like maybe like a little bit more like buttoned up and stuff or whatever, but this is very much like she's just like explaining this to the camera with a nice cozy song on in the background that I'm enjoying it a lot.
Trans people, like any other person, is just a person. Sure, you might have interest in like a sexual or dating area, but that doesn't make you inherently less of a human being. But to explain what isn't a chaser, and I think this is a bit more of a contentious talking point amongst trans community, but if someone is attracted to someone that happens to be transgender and still sees them as a person, that is not being a chaser. That's just being attracted to someone that's trans. Does a straight guy...
Yeah, and you can also I think there's also varying degrees, right? You can also, for instance, like you can have a attraction to a certain type of person. Like you could be attracted to blonde girls, or you could be attracted to people, I don't know, like thinner girls or thicker girls or whatever. Like it's perfectly fine to have, you know, a taste or whatever when it comes to what type of person you tend to find attractive or whatever. But I think it's when it becomes fetishized in your brain is when it turns into like a problem, right? Like that's kind of like how I sort of see like that sort of discrepancy.
Being attracted to a trans woman make them gay? No, they're attracted to a trans woman, and a trans woman is, well, a woman, right? So that would still be a straight guy dating a trans woman. If we have a lesbian dating a trans woman, then she's still a lesbian, right? That said, we usually attribute the word chaser predominantly towards men for whatever reason. I don't know why. There's probably women chasers. Got to get more diversity in the chaser space.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know if I've ever heard people refer to a woman chaser, like someone who's chasing a trans man. I think that has to do with the typical type of chaser guy is usually in a the concept of being attracted to non-traditionally feminine people or whatever is very like taboo and wrong, especially amongst you know, the culture in like America, I would say, generally speaking. And so I think that like I don't know. I think it has to do with the taboo of the types of people. Like I think it's more taboo for a guy to be like it's the same way that it's more taboo for like two guys to kiss than for two girls to kiss or whatever, you know. I think that it feels it's based on like our patriarchal understanding of society and a lot of built-in like homophobia and like I don't know, just shame and sort of that sort of thing. If I had to guess, I'd have to process that a little more to give maybe a better assessment, but I think it's something along those lines.
If a guy just happens to like women with different equipment down there, that doesn't inherently make someone a chaser.
No, that's what I was saying earlier.
If you're still seeing someone as a human being and you've discussed boundaries, you're having a wonderful relationship, and perhaps this guy enjoys the equipment that said trans woman might have, not having surgery before, that doesn't make someone like a super scary chaser or whatever. That's just a person that enjoys dating women with different equipment, right? I feel like stigmatizing this kind of thing is really strange. I feel like we should be accepting of what people enjoy in that context, right? Now, understand that there's many trans women that don't want to be enjoyed for equipment they don't like or they don't associate with. And I think that's reasonable too. Like in any relationship, you gotta talk about it. For some trans women, it can be kind of uncomfortable to be desired, so to speak, because of equipment they may have dysphoria for. And I think that's very reasonable. Though equally so, if a guy asks politely in an established relationship, that kind of thing, if they can, well, interact, we'll call it, with the E key, that's reasonable. Now, if said trans woman partner's like, nah, I'm good, and then, you know, the partner goes, understandable, have a nice day, then yeah, we're chilling, right? However, that's
Yeah.
a rational conversation. You ain't getting a rational conversation from someone that wants to go to town. Interactions
Wow.
you might have with people that we would call chasers are people that they're on their app and they're on a mission, okay? And this is more of a commentary on dating apps in general, but I feel like a lot of people use dating apps as hookup apps.
Yeah.
And like there's separate apps for that. Just it can be very annoying. I honestly stopped using dating apps years ago because every time I matched with a guy, it would usually be someone twice my age and their profile pic would either be them holding a fish or a giant.
The fish
I'd
guy.
say the internet in general.
The fish guy. That's a classic, man. That's a classic. I'm proud to say that I've never once had a profile picture of me holding a fish. I feel like okay. If you like fishing, that's perfectly fine, but you don't need it on your fucking profile picture. To me, it feels like another cultural signifier that's just like I am right-wing coded. It's kind of the vibe that I get for people who actually put, the holding the fish in the profile picture. I'm assuming that if you're doing that, you're really looking for a like trad wife kind of girl, if you can, like, if you're capable of finding one. If that's not what you're looking for, though, if you're looking for any girl, I would recommend that you get rid of that fish picture, because I know lots of people who say as soon as they see a fish in the profile picture, they do not swipe on it. They swipe left or whatever it is, the bad one. It's been a while since I've been on dating apps.
General has made us try to optimize and speed through things, right? And that has also come into play in the dating space. Dating apps are rapid fire. People want action now, right? So you're gonna get the most forward question imaginable from someone that is a chaser. And that is not okay.
I personally kind of hate that aspect of dating apps. I really, man, dude. I mean, I could go into a whole thing about dating apps, but dating apps in general, I don't like the gamification. I wish that they stuck more to the goal of like just getting to know someone and getting like going on a date with someone, as opposed to it feeling like a contest or something of like swiping right and swiping left. I don't know. I was never that big of a fan when I was using dating apps. So that's my personal opinion.
You'll see some people identify under the...
And obviously, if you're just looking for hookups, like that's fine. I'm not coming for you, but I just wish the dating apps were more like geared towards the goal of getting a date and finding a relationship, personally.
And that is not okay. You'll see some people identify under the label trans attracted. I think that's the term used to differentiate chasers from people that just are...
Chasers doesn't see trans people as people who use this language that would scare a 4chan user. Trans attracted treats trans women like any other woman, is polite. Okay, there you go.
Attracted to trans women. And it's okay if you're watching this and you're attracted to trans women. It's okay to be attracted to trans women specifically. But still see them as human beings, okay? They're just a person. We're not a quirky f***er in your anime to play around with, right? We're just a person that is gonna go to a nice park, have a nice meal, see the sun go down, that kind of thing, right? I'm not sure how I feel about the label trans attracted, because I feel like I mostly see it in context of people that are probably chasers. I find that people that are attracted to trans women and are chill about it usually just say they're attracted to women, and they'll just date people. There's a wide plethora of reasons that guys might want to date trans women, right? And sometimes it can be like physicality related, but also it can be like social related, as demographic wise, it can be easier to find trans women partners that are into certain nerdy hobbies, for example. If you go to any card game tournament or video game tournament, the chance of you finding trans women is much higher than meeting cis women, right? So in that specific context,
Yeah.
I think
That's true. Trans people are, I think, overrepresented in certain nerddoms, fandoms, artistic communities, also in political committees and stuff as well, or like political civic action groups and stuff. I've met a couple trans people, so but that is I wonder. I'm curious why. I don't know if there's like a reason, or if people have analyzed that, particularly around like anime and you know, like that sort of like the nerd communities. I guess because there might be a lot of like outsider feeling people or outcast people in those communities, and trans people tend to kind of fall, like in modern society, can tend to kind of fall into that bucket as well. Maybe that's why.
I think it's pretty reasonable to happen to date a lot of trans women because there's just a lot of us in a concentrated space. Wanting to date people that enjoy the things you enjoy, very reasonable. And if that means that most of the time you end up with trans women, I think that's chill as long as you see them as a human being that likes that thing you do, right? I'm sure a lot of trans people would prefer a nice candlelit dinner and playing some Pokemon card games on the table rather than a literal picture of your dog. Granted, once you're in an established relationship, that might change, but that's a different story.
What?
There's a strange assumption that trans people are somehow completely fundamentally different.
Memi say, think it's similar to why neurodivergent people like it, feel like most mainstream stuff doesn't represent you. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling too. Same with like why I think there's a lot of trans and like gender like non-conforming people in emo and goth spaces and alt spaces and all that sort of stuff. I think that you're probably right. It has something to do with like outsiders kind of finding niches to come together and stuff. So I think that that's probably where it is.
Different from cis people, right? And that can come into many different things, but I want to highlight a specific topic of infantilization, which basically just means seeing someone as really childish, right? This kind of stigma is very commonly thrown at trans men, for example, and that can be really dysphoria-inducing and honestly disrespectful to trans men that just want to live as men. So chases are a big problem for trans women and trans men, okay? But this specific topic, I think, holds especially true for trans guys, where they just want to be a guy, let him chill. Like, even if he enjoys some feminine presentation, right, doesn't make him less of a man, right? He's chilling. Don't infantilize him. Oh my God. Said infantilization can occur on trans women too. You can often see portrayals or photos of trans women wearing stuff like maid outfits or like cute uwu kawaii fashion, that kind of thing. So it can create a kind of assumption that all of us dress like that and are fundamentally uwu and more likely.
She says that she's wearing a maid outfit. Sorry, I just noticed that as she was talking about it, but yeah, I mean, obviously, there's different. Everybody has different desires of how they want to present themselves, and you should, you know, not see anybody as a monolith. Any group of people, it's important to never see them as a monolith. Some trans women want to be very feminine, girly, petite. Some might want to be a little bit more masculine coded, you know. It all depends on the person. And there's also some that, you know, might appear more masculine, but like they don't necessarily want to be perceived that way as well. You know, so like there's you know, I mean, it's a tricky world, right? It is a tricky world when you get into the minutia of trans identity. But I'm hoping that, you know, we're all learning together here, and you know, we can all be our best selves whenever we're around our trans brothers and sisters out there.
That all of us dress like that and are fundamentally uwu and more likely to be a more traditional housewife. I really briefly did one date with one guy, and his profile specifically said that he liked femme presenting people, just in general, right? That was where he was chilling. Fair enough, right? It was a pretty positive date, actually. It was very respectful of me. His profile briefly mentioned
when ice skating and enjoyed a burger. To be honest, it was a very nice date. I just wasn't ready at the time to continue a relationship. That sounds like a good date. I mean, I like, I used to ice skate a lot. I haven't been ice skating in a while, and you can't go wrong with a burger, man. In America, everybody loves burgers. That's our only food group. That's the main food group.
And that he didn't mind what was down there, that kind of thing, as he enjoyed both. Fair enough, but he liked it on femme presenting people. I think that's valid. That's fine. Just because a guy enjoys one equipment doesn't mean his sexuality has to be another thing. If he enjoys it on femme presenting people, sure. Why not? Go for it. How do you avoid chasers? Well, step one would be to not use dating apps, but that's not always an option for some people, so fair enough. But if you are using a dating app, just bear in mind that profiles are shown to you really rapidly, so a lot of people will be swiping just based on the pretty profile pic, right? So they're probably not gonna read the little bio thing. But it can be pretty easy to tell which aren't reading your bio if you happen to be lesbian, for example, as you'll find a really suspicious amount of guys somehow in your like swipe feed somehow because they ticked one thing to be shown on a lesbian feed. So that's pretty easy. In that case, swipe off any guys you see if you don't like guys. But if you're straight, bi, pan, etc., it's a bit trickier. But when you match with someone, right, really check their profile. It's surprisingly not hard to figure out if someone is there for a hookup or a long-term relationship where they see you as a wonderful person. Tip 1, does their bio mention anything other than sex? Does their profile mention hobbies? If they have hobbies, then there's things that they do other than swipe on a dating app, so that's pretty promising. Now the scary one is, well, talking to them. And when you talk to someone, you can get the vibe pretty quick. Based it on how quickly they bring the topic to not safe for work activities. If they're okay to have a really reasonable conversation, maybe want to go to the shops, or maybe want to like go enjoy playing video games on the internet, or do a fun hobby thing, go rock climbing, I don't know, that's cool. Just remember there is a vulnerability when we're especially early in transition where we feel like we need validation in having a partner. However, just bear in mind that one's self-worth is not tied.
I heard an interesting thing about this on the Fear and podcast. They had, I think, a trans person, like a trans woman on, and she talked about how when she was first getting, like when she was first transitioning, I can't remember who it was, but I just remember she was talking about when she first transitioned, she let people, or she engaged in sexual acts with chasers and with like men who don't have her best interest at heart as a trans woman, like people who might be bigoted or people who might be like anti-trans in their rhetoric or their like how they portray themselves out to the world or whatever, but then we're chasing trans people behind the scenes or whatever. And she would have sex with them at first, and I think it was she said it was because of her seeking the validation of her femininity, basically, right, from these people. And so I do think that that's kind of important, like for trans people to, I mean, you know, obviously you can choose to have sex with who you want to have sex with or whatever, but to not like, you know, in a standard way of like, not like, you know, don't do things that you might like regret just to seek the validation of your identity. And also you can probably seek your validation of your identity in aspects other than sex as well. I mean, that is one aspect of it, but it's not the only aspect of people validating your identity. So
to whether you have a partner, but unfortunately that insecurity, some chasers are kind of aware of that and will rather degradingly try to affirm feminine things about you, but not in a very polite way. But when you're early on, maybe feeling a bit insecure, maybe you want that at that moment. I'm not here to be a hater, but just remember, you can be single and a trans person and still be a valid person. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. My last relationship ended in 2014. 2015? Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had a couple of dates here and there, but none ever ended up being a relationship, right? In my adult life, I think I've done like 2, maybe 3 dates ever, and I'm 26, and by the time you see this video, I'm 27. You should totally say happy birthday in the comments. But like, that doesn't make me lesser that I haven't been on many dates or had long-term relationships. I've been pretty single for a decade plus, and I'm fine, I'm chilling, I'm doing fun things, and that's all that really matters to me, I guess.
hey, I went through that phase too. Don't worry.
I I feel like the best relationships usually come from not dating apps specifically. And I'm not saying it has to be IRL. It can be like you're in an online community for a thing you like, and then you just organically meet someone. You know, maybe you're like playing a new game that came out and like there's someone in the chat and you're getting along well while you're playing with them. Or
Ooh,
maybe
Monster
you're in VR
Hunter.
chat and you find someone cool.
You can see on my in my background, I got a little Monster Hunter, not Palico. I forgot what the dog was called from Monster Hunter Rise, I think it was. But I'm a pretty big Monster Hunter fan, by the way, people.
Cool at a dance party and you're getting along well while you're playing with them. Or maybe you're in VR chat and you find someone cool at a dance party in VR. Sure, why not? And then IRL, when you go and do activities such as maybe running, rock climbing, swimming, I don't know. Maybe you find someone just organically. Sure, why not? I think organically letting it happen is the easiest way to avoid chasers, as chasers don't do things, to be honest. The internet's created a skewed thing where it will make you think chasers are everywhere. And they're not uncommon. But in your average everyday life, you're not going to come across one in a way that will be of any danger or concern to you. If you're just doing your favorite thing,
Except if you go to the drag bar. I won't lie. I think there's a lot of chasers at the drag bar that I go to occasionally. Like I think that there's some people who are, I don't know. Like I mean, because obviously like being at a drag bar is like a celebration usually of trans identities in some regard. But I do think there's a lot of people who are there who fetishize trans people as well. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong on that. I've just seen some interactions that I'm just a little bit like, I don't know.
things, meeting new people, especially not in a dating app context where it's this massive race to try to get a date as quick as possible. It's actually really easy to avoid a chaser. If you've met someone that talks about chasers on a regular basis, like bad experiences with them, that kind of thing, just bear in mind they probably are very active in dating apps or hookup apps, that kind of thing. So just understand in that small context, yes, they're common. Sure. I know it's an anticlimactic way to end a video, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about trans experience, I make a trans-related video every single week. That's right, every single week.
A
So whether
weekly
you're a
upload.
trans
Weekly upload. That's impressive.
person wanting to learn about trans experience, or an ally that wants to learn about trans experience, or someone in the middle where you're not quite sure where you stand yet, and that's okay. You're welcome to like, comment, subscribe, and enjoy various videos. If there are any guys watching this insecure about whether they are defined as a chaser or not, if you're worried about how we feel about that, then you're probably not. Do the things you like to do, organically meet people, and if your future partner is a trans person, cool. Just be kind to them, treat them like any other person, and I'm sure you'll do fine. For the trans people watching, it's okay to be single. You don't have to chase validation, and the relationship will come at the right time. It's okay to be patient for it. It's been 10 years plus for me. I'm sure I'll run into someone eventually.
Well, there you go, people. I thought that was a good video. It was very chill. I liked the vibes. Very cozy, I think, as she said, or comfy, as she said. So we got to learn a little bit about chasers, and I think that was good. We all come away, I don't know, more, more aware of the lives of, or like what our trans brothers and sisters go through when it comes to dating. And I think the more that we learn, the more empathetic and better this world becomes. So that's my philosophy, and I'm sticking to it. So